What's going on? This is Ryan with Automatic Comics. I've got another one of those frustrating packaging videos. It's actually a slab that is inside of this thing. And I do have another box I'm going to open that I picked up recently from the Golden Age Guru claim sale. So stay tuned for that because there are some awesome books in there. Actually an awesome book in here too, which is why this is so frustrating to see. So stay tuned. So before we get started, please remember to hit that like button and hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more content like this. Now, the purpose of me making these videos is not to shame the seller or something like that. It's really just to get the information out there on how you should properly ship these books. This is a slabbed book, and so kind of for comparison on this, I've got a book that I recently had graded. This, you can see, there's zero room on the edge of this box for a slab. Yeah, there's room on the top and the bottom. That would be fine. If there was an equivalent amount of room on the side, maybe it would be fine. But also look at the width. I mean, there's just no room for error with this packaging. Yeah, it looks like it wasn't damaged. I think it's probably safe. It's better than being in a bubble mailer, which I have also received a slab in a bubble mailer before. And that slab actually did get cracked. But with this, it just takes one hard hit on an edge on the front, and you're going to crack this slab. It's also a pretty high-grade Silver Age book. And when you see what's in here, you're going to think it's even more crazy about this. The other thing, it was shipped frigging media mail. Don't ship a media mail. You saved like $6, and you risk just destroying this book because they don't treat those media mail packages nearly as well because they're supposed to just be books. And so with this, you've got a book that is a high grade, getting tossed around. They shift around potentially in these slabs, and you're going to potentially have damage to the book. And so right now I'm kind of laughing and joking about it. If there's damage to the book, I'm going to be really upset. So, but for now, we'll see how this one turns out. I am really hoping for the best with it. I got to be careful cutting this because obviously the book is going to be like right here, and so I don't want to, I want to go pretty narrow on the blade, so I don't accidentally just cut a gash down the front of the slab. So, all right. So, yeah, there's cardboard and everything in here. This is not enough protection for a book like this. And just ship it priority. It's a few extra dollars. Now, I'll take this thing out of the case. I'll make sure that there are no cracks or anything like that. I think it looks good. Yeah, and it doesn't look like the book has shifted in any way where I could see like a crunch or something on an edge or staple tears. All right, so this is the book. This is one of my favorite Silver Surfer covers. This is Tales to Astonish, number 93, and a really nice high grade, a 9.0. And this one is also signed by Stan Lee. And the thing that I really liked about this one was that Stan Lee signature is one of the best Stan Lee signatures I've seen. I mean, it's actually really clear. You can see that it's Stan Lee. Sometimes you get these ones where they're kind of just really blobby, really rushed. But this one was signed back in 2012. And so the older signatures tend to look a little bit better because it's not quite the level of volume of signing that was going on later on in his life when he was going through a lot of those signings. But it's also an awesome signature placement. It's right on Silver Surfer's board. I just think it's just one of the best signatures I've seen. Incredible placement. A 9.0 white pages copy of this just classic Silver Surfer cover. It's also, like you can see up there, first Silver Surfer appearance outside of the Fantastic Four. So really this is his first crossover. And so just a book that I really, really like. Was really happy to get it. Was not real excited when I saw that packaging, but everything does look like it is okay. This is one that I will I'll probably just send it in to get reslabbed. I'd like to have this in a newer case. This one's actually in surprisingly good condition for this older style of case. A lot of times they're really scuffed up and everything. This one looks pretty nice. I was hoping maybe it would have a shot at a press and regrade, but you can see that little color breaking crease up in the corner there. That's getting this at a 9.0. I mean, it's a really, really nice looking book otherwise, but it's not, I don't see it getting out of a 9.0 with that type of color break. But that's the first book. I've said this before, I don't really buy Signature Series very often, but I do like buying Stanley signed books. They command such a premium, especially on keys, Silver Age keys even more so. So I'd like to get those, and it's such a nice signature too. All right, so here's the other one, an example of how you should package these. You know, where it's in a priority box. This is in a medium flat rate box. There are but quite a few books in this claim sale. I think there are 3 slabs and then 4 raw books. And so I think probably a lot of you are familiar with Golden Age Guru. He does some shows often with Comic Tom. He is an Overstreet advisor, Golden Age specialist, and he does claim sales on Instagram fairly regularly. Probably not once a month, but once every couple months you'll usually see a claim sale. And in this one, he was also selling books with his friend Eric. And so I bought books from both of them. I bought, I think it was 4 books from Eric and 3 books from Jeff, who is Golden Age Guru. And so there's some really cool books in here. There's some Neil Adams books, because unfortunately, most of you are probably aware, Neil Adams passed away this past week. And so there are some books in there for that are just famous Neil Adams covers. Then there's also a couple really rare Golden Age books, because I was buying books from Golden Age Guru, so you gotta get some rare Golden Age books there. So I'm gonna start with the slabs. And so the slabs are where we've got a couple of these just incredible Neil Adams covers, one of them being my favorite Neil Adams cover and one of my favorite covers entirely of all time, and that is this book right here. This is Batman number 251. This is in a 7.0. This is just, I mean, this is one of the epitome Neil Adams Batman covers. You got this incredible Joker cover. It's in a nice grade, 7.0, and there you go. And just classic Joker cover, and this is really when Joker becomes more evil. Instead of just being that gangster character, he's more evil. Now this one, man, like, I don't usually talk about like the Newton rings on the books. This one's something else. This one, let's see if I can get them to show up on camera. Not really. And that's the thing, they don't really show up on camera very well. You can see them a little bit up on Batman up there. Oh, here we go. Man, it's like an oil stain on there with those Newton rings. And if you're not familiar with Newton rings, it's caused by the plastic from the inner well touching up against the plastic from the outer case, and they have caused this rainbow effect that you can see. That doesn't damage the book or anything. It's just more for presentation at certain angles. So you can see from here, from this angle, looks fine, looks great. But if you're looking at it from this angle, you can really see all those Newton rings. But not a big deal. Doesn't impact the book. I've never really cared about Newton rings. I just think that one's interesting because that one has a lot of them. All right. Now here is the second big Neil Adams cover, and I have never owned a copy of this book before. This is a Batman key that has really been picking up steam lately, and I like Batman. I'm a big Batman fan. I thought this was a cool book to pick up. This is Detective Comics number 400. This is the first appearance of Man-Bat. So real creative name there. You've got Batman and Man-Bat. But again, this is another Neil Adams cover. Cool first appearance. Also just a great, I don't know what you call it, anniversary type issue. The big, 100 issue cycles. So you've got, this is issue 400. Just such a cool cover. Looks like a Neil Adams Batman. I mean, that's what you picture with Batman drawn by Neil Adams. A 9.0 is a tough grade to get for this book. It's tough to get this book in these higher grades in 9 and above. I think it's in about the top 25% of copies. And so, it's back cover. But yeah, cool Detective Comics 400, first appearance of Man-Bat, Neil Adams cover. So just another great DC book. Now this last one here is actually a book that I have been recommending to kind of like speculate on. I think that it's come down some, and I think it's going to go right back up when we ultimately see this character on the big screen in a trailer. And this is Shazam number 28. This is the first appearance of Black Adam in comics since the Golden Age. Now, he does appear in like a fanzine in the Silver Age. I'll throw a picture of that book up here. But this is actually the official appearance of this character. And here you go. This is a CBCS, not a CGC, a 7.5. Like I said, I'll buy CBCS, CGC, doesn't really matter as long as I think the price is good on the book, and I thought this was a great price for this book. This one, honestly, it looks like it probably hasn't been pressed. So you can see that, those kind of like little bends where you have got the spine ticks on the edge. And it's got on the back cover here, see there's like there's a bend here that doesn't look like it breaks color. This is one that could maybe benefit from a press and, you know, push that grade up a little bit. It's always risky. It really doesn't look like it's been pressed. It's got a couple another bend on the bottom there. So we can get it to show up. Yeah, see that? Another bend on that bottom corner. You can tell the spine is a little bit dirty down in that corner there, so it hasn't been cleaned. So I'd say this book very likely hasn't been cleaned, hasn't been pressed, and could benefit from that. So definitely something that I might consider with this one. Got a little bit of time before this movie and trailer comes out. I don't know if enough time to get that turnaround with this book. This would be you could probably do a modern fast track, and modern fast tracks are just blazing right now. It's crazy. I submitted my books recently. I had a pretty large submission, like 71 books, and it had a modern fast track, economy fast track, standard, and express. The modern fast track, first one to get through 5 days, including 2 weekend days, and it got between when it got opened and shipped out. I don't have it yet. It's supposed to show up soon, but 5 days. Just nuts. Now, last thing I have here are some raw books. I think there are 4 raw books in here. Like I said, but back to that Shazam 28, First Black Adam, I do really think that's a great book to go after right now. It's always tough speculating on DC. I'm always a little nervous about it, but I think The Rock is just such a huge actor. I think that's the type of character that could really bring some love to the DC Spec. So, all right. Alright, so we got 4 books here. Now, I've had a bunch of DC here, so just jump to some Marvel real quick. First one is Amazing Spider-Man, number 78. This is the first appearance of the Prowler. I think it was graded at like 5.5. You know, it's a decent looking copy, and you can't really go wrong with Silver Age Spider-Man. It's got a printer crease, so we can show it. So you can see that printer crease there goes about here to here, and those don't affect the grade. So that's something you should always just be aware of. If you've got a printer crease on a book, they do not affect the grade. I've seen 9/8 with printer creases on them, with, you know, large printer creases. So they're considered a production defect, don't affect the grade. They do affect the visual appearance of the book, but not the actual grade. And yeah, in general, pretty nice copy. A little bit of spine wear, but overall, nice presenting copy. First appearance of the Prowler. Never a bad thing to have. Silver Age Spider-Man and first appearances with Silver Age Spider-Man. All right, now these last 3. These are some cool books. I didn't even know these books existed until, I don't know what it was, maybe 4 or 5 months ago. I'm buddies with Vancouver Comic Junkie. If you haven't ever checked out his channel, recommend it. He's got some great content. And he had messaged in this group chat that I'm in, and he's like, oh, I picked up a copy of Planet Comics number 1, the Canadian edition. And I was like, I've seen Canadian prints of Planet Comics with the same number as what you have for the US edition, but I had never seen these before. These are like a later printing of Planet Comics where they gave them numbers starting at 1, but then they have covers from later issues of Planet Comics. And so this is actually Planet Comics 1 through 3, but the Canadian editions. And so this is Planet Comics number 1. This is the Canadian edition, and this is actually the cover for the US edition of Planet Comics number 62. And Planet Comics is known for having these good girl art, sci-fi covers, just some incredible covers. Lots of them done by Joe Doolin and Maurice Whitman. It's just some incredible covers. And this one was a lower grade, like a 225, but the colors are great, and it's so rare. This one, there is one on the census. I mean, that's like, you don't see these books. You don't see them ever. And so one on the census of this one, and I will probably send this in to get graded, so then there will be 2. But this is where you can see up on the top here, it says Canadian edition number 1. And so that's the difference there. Then we've got Planet Comics Canadian edition number 2. And this is one of my favorite Planet Comics covers of all time. I love this cover. It's an homage to, I think, issue number 7 from the same run, and where it's a guy that's firing this ray gun that's melting through a spaceship. In this case, they've got the woman firing the ray gun. I just think it's such a cool cover. Colors are just incredible. This is actually issue 61 from the US copies. The cover is issue 61. And so this one's a little bit nicer, rated about a 3.5. It's got a tear on the top there, but in general, spine is in a little better condition. Just a really cool book. I haven't decided exactly what I want to do with these yet. I'm planning on getting them graded. This one I might end up keeping because I like this cover so much. And I just think it's so cool to have these really rare Canadian editions of them. So that's the second one. And then the final one is Planet Comics number 3, the Canadian edition. This is also really cool. Good girl art, pink cover. This one's the nicest condition of them all, about a 4.0. It's got a little bit of, you can see that piece off splitting down at the spine there. But in general, nice presenting copy of this book. And this is issue number 63 from the US number, the standard numbered books. And so, yeah, just, I think 3 really cool books that you just never see these things. So let's see here. We've got, there you go. You got issues number 1, 2, and 3 of the Canadian editions of Planet Comics. And my favorite, definitely this one. I just really love this cover. So I thought those were pretty cool to pick up. Those 3 were from Jeff. The other 4 books I picked up from his friend Eric. So I hope you enjoyed this video, saw some cool books, some rare Golden Age books, as well as just some great Neil Adams covers. I definitely do recommend looking for that Shazam 28 before we get a trailer for that Black Adam movie. I think those books are going to spike. I think the popularity in that character is going to jump. And so I do think those are great books to pick up. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more content like this. I've got more videos over here if you'd like to watch some of my other videos, and the subscription button right here. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, I'd really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video.